Well, hello everybody. I started to just start talking. How's everybody doing? It's Wednesday, hump day, January 5th, I believe, yeah. I haven't really made any videos real recently. I made some yesterday, never got around to posting them because when I came home and she was on live, I watched her because I haven't really, my internet was down for several days. Everybody in my whole town and neighborhood, I guess they were doing some kind of planned maintenance or something. I don't know. That's their excuse. I don't know what the real reason was, but I'm trying to find me a hair band. I'll have to wait until I get somewhere where I can't stand my hair falling down around my face. But anyway, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a great New Year. I didn't do much of anything New Year. My husband and I went out and ate Chinese buffet, and then New Year's Eve we stayed home and we shot off a few fireworks. That's about it. We didn't go out and do anything. So back to Crystal real quick while I've got all this in my mind, the few things I want to say. First of all, this is just my opinion. I was almost held in contempt of court one time when I had to go to court for child support with my ex-husband, and I was sitting there in court listening to all these cases before mine, and the judge was ordering these men to pay these big huge amounts compared to what I was getting, or not getting rather, what I was supposed to be getting. And he was telling these men, you know, and one man, he ordered him to provide his ex-wife with a car because they had children together, and she was saying, you know, I have to be able to get my kids to school and things like that. And I'm sitting over there like, I'm just here trying to get $150 a month, what it was set for him to pay through the court and wasn't paying. And I can't remember what I said, but sometime when I was called up and he was at his little table and I was over here at mine with my lawyer, I said something, and I don't even remember what it was, and my ex-husband said something back to me, and the judge said, if you both don't, you know, stop speaking to each other, I will hold you in contempt of court. And it was because we were immature children when we got married, and we got divorced, we were still immature children, you know. But anyway, let me put my seatbelt on. I forgot. I'm trying to get some heat going in here. It's warmed up quite a bit compared to what it has been, but it's still chilly willy. It's my personal opinion, and I'm sure there's others out there that agree with me. If you go into a courtroom, even if you're not on the stand, when you're called up before the judge, it is assumed, and I could be wrong, and if there's someone out there that knows the law better than I do, then please speak up. But in my opinion, it is assumed that when the judge calls your name and you go up to speak to the judge, that you're under oath, regardless of whether you raise your hand or whatever, you know. If she went into the courtroom and she said to the judge or to whoever was representing her or whoever was representing the state or the child support that she didn't have any income, or that her income was very minimal, less than what would be required for her to be indigent or even like poor, considered poor enough to qualify for aid, public defender. If she went in there knowing that she had gotten $10,000 from stars, and I'm sorry for those of you who are still under this impression that she was only getting $1,000. I'm horrible at math. I will be the first one to admit that. I'm one of the most horrible persons when it comes to math. It's like I have math dyslexia. And I'm not making fun of anybody with dyslexia, because I truly believe that I have math dyslexia. Numbers. Now, I can do accounting numbers. I have actually done taxes for people and worked in bookkeeping in some offices that I've worked in before. But I'm talking about like fractions and just these more, I don't know, advanced math problems. I'm just no good at that. And my mind just like closes down. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that she was getting $10,000. She might not have been going to get all that in one lump sum, because the way I understood it was they paid out 30 days, and that she had 30 days after she got it, and that she'd already gotten one payout. And she held her phone up, and people were taking screenshots of one amount was like 24 something, and another I seen was 45. She should have just told the judge that. She should have said, well, I don't know what the income requirement is, but here's what I made in the last year. Each month, her numbers for her supporters. Now, I'm not skilled in that either, but the way I understand it is $4.99 per supporter per month. And if someone leaves and is no longer a supporter, they may still be charged for that month according to what day they left. So, let's just assume, give her the benefit of the smallest amount, that she's gotten at least $1,000 per month for supporters. Not to mention ads, not to mention stars, and never ever to mention tips and donations and begging and bumming. Because, and also all the stuff that she sold and didn't mail probably 90% of that stuff out to people. The courts, in my opinion, they probably won't do this, but I'm just saying this is how I look at it. They should back up. They should make her bring in all of her pay, receipts, Cash App receipts, all that stuff that she claims she keeps everything. She says over and over and over again, I keep every screenshot. I keep everything, going all the way back to when I first started this page. I doubt that she really does that. She keeps what she deems important. She keeps screenshots of the people who are sending her larger amounts, so she knows who to hit up when the time comes. But it's my personal opinion that if it's found that she deliberately lied to the judge about her income, and she probably did if she told him she didn't have all that income that I just mentioned, then she should be, in my opinion, held in contempt of court, if not perjury. You know, if she wasn't under oath, I don't know how that perjury works, but she should at the very least be held in contempt of court. And if she was granted a public defender because she's told them she has no income, and later it was learned about all this income, then that's theft of services right there. That's theft. That is theft by deception, you know. She should have to back up, not only pay the child support she owes, but pay the court back, pay the public defenders back for their time. And I used to work in the public defender's office years ago, and I was a secretary, and I was probably like the low man in the office, you know, low woman in the office, because I didn't do anything as far as the legal services that they provided. I answered phones, I made copies, I sent out mail, I went and picked up mail, I went to the courthouse and picked up the papers where people would be arrested and they would put in for a public defender. I went and picked all those up and brought them back to the office for the lawyers to look through. I did the office stuff, just whatever was needed of me in the office. But one thing that I did do was I worked with the investigator, and I helped him out quite a bit. I would find phone numbers for him, I would find addresses for him, I would set up and arrange appointments and interviews with other people for him. So the public defenders, they investigate their own cases. So she needs to know that. She needs to know that just because she is their client, they're going to look into her too, because they don't want to get, when they go into court and they're representing her, they don't want to go in there with misinformation from either side. So she needs to know that they're going to look into her. They're going to look into all that. Not only, I'll tell you another thing, Crystal, if you happen to hear this, or any of your minions or supporters wants to run and tell her, you can't backtrack now, sister, because it's all right there on social media and everybody's already seen it. And your little act last night of saying, sometimes I forget things and I don't understand big old words. After you have repeatedly told people, I'm a lot smarter than you all think. I'm a very, very smart girl. I know what I'm doing. I'm a very, very smart girl. You'll never catch me. It's been screen recorded and shared all over the webs, the interwebs. It's on Reddit. It's on YouTube. It's on Yahoo. It's on AOL back in the day. I mean, it's on like Yahoo from like back in the 1990s when the internet was first invented or whatever. I'm just kidding, but it's out there. It's been shared to groups and more and more and more groups. And it's there, it's proof. And you're not going to convince the judge that it's all screenshotted and it's all taped together like someone in a studio like Steven Spielberg is sitting there cutting these videos up and piecing them back together. Because it's on your own lives. So you better start dirty deleting, girl. But it may be a little bit too late for that. Because I'm going to share something with some of y'all. My husband worked with this man. And now this is true of everybody. I want everybody out there to know this. My husband worked with this man who became injured at his job. He had a pretty bad injury. Had to have surgery. He couldn't work anymore. Okay, when he first went to file for workers' comp and he went to file for his disabled Social Security because he wasn't going to be able to go back to work after this injury. His back was broken and just a bunch of different problems. And the very first thing his lawyer told him, before we submit this, before we send this in and other eyes see this, that you're filing this against the company you worked for, he told him, he said, that company has already gone through your social media. When you were injured, the first thing that they did was start going through your social media looking for anything they could use against you. But it took this man years to get his disability after having been injured. But that's something that they do now, Crystal. And what was it Shane said on his live, that when he was talking to this clerk, that she says that the judges and the courts don't watch Facebook? Well, you're wrong. Right here in my own town, there was a man wanted for animal cruelty. Someone had a video of him being cruel to an animal, starving the animal. They had pictures of the animal, malnourished and starved. They knew who he was, but they didn't know where he was. And how do you think they found him? They found him on Facebook. Because they put his picture out there, and they said if anyone knows where he might be located, let us know, because he's wanted. He's a fugitive. He's got an arrest warrant out for him, and they found him through Facebook. That's how they find everybody now. I mean, don't you watch Catfish? I mean, come on. It's all internet. It's all Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. I mean, how do you think they find people now? They don't. I mean, they still go out and search, but even missing persons. What is the first thing that people do if their pet goes missing? The very first thing anybody does if their pet goes missing is they take pictures of that pet and they put it on Facebook. Please help find my missing cat or my missing dog. It's it went missing from this area, this location. And people get out and they start looking for it. They're driving along, they see it standing beside the road. They go, there's the dog that everybody's looking for. Same thing goes with people. And don't forget all the people, Crystal, that you've pissed off, that you've taken for a ride, that you've manipulated out of their money, promising them content that you didn't supply, promising them giveaways that you didn't do, promising them if they gave stars or whatever that you were going to send them these gifts that you didn't ever give. And they're pissed off. There's some of them who are not just going to say, you know what, I entered this contest. It's like you walk into a store around Christmas time and they have these giveaways. Put your name in this box and you'll be entered into a drawing to win this big basket of fruit or, shampoos or whatever. These beauty salons do that. There's one store in my town that has like this big huge Christmas stocking full of toys and candy and stuff that they give away at Christmas. Now just imagine that all these people put their name in that box and they're like, oh gosh, I hope I win that because my grandchild would love to have that big stocking full of toys. Or, my sister would love to have all that shampoo and hair products. And they're thinking, this is all above board and legit. And as soon as all the names are in that box, the people that work there take the names out, search through them, and find the one they want to give to. Or they just make up a name and say, this is the one that won, and she's not really real, but we're going to pretend like she is. So we don't actually have to give away this $100 basket of shampoo and hair products, That's what Crystal does. And there are a few still watching her who still believe, she's legit. She's not really lying to us. She's not really trying to take us for a ride. There are some new ones who've never even, they just happen maybe to be scrolling through Facebook one day and they come across her and they start watching and she's talking about send tips, send stars. And everybody who sends stars today will be entered into this drawing. And they're thinking, gosh, that's great, But they don't know the history. But thankfully, the awareness people, the groups, going way back from the beginning, are still diligent about collecting all the information and collecting all the recordings of her. And they haven't let up. And her time may be at hand. Now, last night, after she came back and did the second live, or when she was doing the makeup and then she just ended it, she had promised that she was going to do a giveaway. She never did do the $100 giveaway. Or if she did, I guess someone said she did, someone said she didn't. I don't know. I haven't been watching her that much. Last night was actually the first time that I had watched her. Really got a chance to sit and watch. She's trying to back up and play like she's got some kind of cognitive inability to comprehend things by saying, I don't understand big words sometimes. Well, you had everybody convinced 2 or 3 days ago that you knew exactly what you were doing. You had all your supporters. You were trying to convince all of your supporters that you were going into court with all these laptops and notebooks and all this stuff about the haters. Because you didn't want your people to realize that you were really going to court for child support. That you were being taken to court for not paying your child support. So you wanted to try to convince them that it was all about Facebook and the haters and all the stuff that people have said about you over the years. And there was probably a handful of them that bought it and believed you were really going to court because someone, did something to you. Not that you were an irresponsible parent who, I'm going to say this, and I might come across as being on the wrong side right now, but I think the best thing she ever did in her entire life was give those children away. I think the best thing she ever did in her life was walk away and leave those kids for someone else to raise. Because can you even imagine the life that they would have had with her? She'd be using them right now to get money out of people. Well, she already really did on her son's birthday when she was using the aunt's Cash App or PayPal to get people to send money. And people were sending money. Of course, they were told it was going to the aunt. That's probably the only reason most of them sent it. But still, she was teaching her sons the same way she's tried to teach little B, that to beg and bum and to ask other people for money is the way to live. That's the message from her. Not to say this is that she possibly convinced one of her family members to let her come and clean their home, or maybe sit with an elderly family member once or twice a week to say they were paying her to work, the way that Mama Con, supposedly she was getting paid through the state to be Mama Con's caregiver, and that might be what she's saying is her job. I was kind of convinced that possibly her cousin, the one that supposedly owns a store, might have said, I'll put you down as an employee a couple of days a week. Maybe she comes in and sweeps or something once or twice a week for her. Or just sits there in the store, so if someone sees her and she says that's where I'm working, they would believe it. I don't know, I'm just speculating here, but whatever it is, you can guarantee it's not a legit job that she went out and walked into a business and said, I'd like to fill out an application, I need employment. She said herself she's got applications in 3 counties and nobody will hire her. For one, I don't believe for 1 minute that she's got applications in anywhere. But I do believe that nobody would hire her because of the drama that she would bring. Because for some reason, as smart as she claims to be, the next minute she claims not to know anything. She's trying to play like aloof. She's got it. She's convinced herself in her own mind that nobody out in the world is watching her that matters. She believes the only people that are watching her are haters who nobody's going to ever believe, and the people she's convinced that these haters are out to get her, and that everything she's done is legit and legal and above board, and it's just the haters that have, made up all this stuff about her. But her video last night where she was doing makeup, she was so removed from that. She had something else on her mind so strong. And we all heard her say, I don't care who's calling and reporting what. She said something along the lines of, as soon as it dawned on me, or as soon as it occurred to me that I had forgotten, or that I read through these papers and then I understood, oh, I was supposed to have reported my income. That she hung up and called whoever it was, and she said, I did what I was supposed to do. I reported what I was supposed to tell, or told what I was supposed to tell, or however she worded it. But we all know that that is nothing more than backtracking. When she saw the video of Shane on the phone with the clerk, she went into troubleshooting mode, you know. She had to back up. She had to act like I simply just forgot. And playing the memory card or the aloof, or not unaloof, but the aloof card. Or maybe she would say something like, I was just so nervous in court that day that I just completely and totally forgot. But the thing about it is now, if she did report it, as she said she did, but I'm not convinced that she did, but if she did, the only reason she did was because she thought it would come back to bite her as a perjury or a contempt of not providing the courts with what she was supposed to provide them with. And now, the court, if they follow the law, if the county attorney follows the law, and child support enforcement follows the law, they will adjust her child support payments monthly to what she is now earning. Now, this is one reason why she's telling people she doesn't want their money. When people say, I'm going to send you money, and she says, no, don't send me any money, I don't want it. She knows she's being watched now. She knows people from the court, and not just people from the court, but people not from the court are watching and reporting this. So every nickel that anyone sends her, unless it's done secretively and they're sending it to a fake profile that they can't trace back to her, she's not going to take any money from anybody in her CMC-Life or Crystal Collins legit Facebook. She's going to, one, pretend it's a fake Facebook page. And two, she's not going to have her name linked to any money coming in right now, other than the supporters' money coming in. And it could be, people are saying supporters are dropping. Well, it could be that she herself is going in and removing some people to make her numbers look lower. So when she shows that to the court, it would show that she's earning less than she was. Because when she had 270 supporters or 260 supporters, what was her income? $1,400 a month. Now it's maybe $1,000 and some dollars a month, $1,100 maybe. Not including the ones that she herself has on there, her own profiles. So she's going to go tell the court, I'm only getting like $900 a month. That's just my speculation. This is, everything I talk about is just my own personal opinion, and I want to restate that this is all just my own thoughts and opinions. I don't have any first-hand knowledge of anything that was said in court other than what's been reported in the awareness pages. And, I watch what I can, and I watched her, and I form my own opinion and share my opinion with people. And, some agree and some don't. A lot of it's just speculation and like maybe, possibly this is what's happened. But the judge does, by law, or the child support enforcement, which is the county attorney and his office staff, should sit down and investigate if she's providing them with her legitimate income. People may send them clips of videos of her getting stars and getting tips and all this other stuff, but they have to find that money and say that it actually came to her hand for them to consider it as income. Mostly what they look at is your tax forms, and if she's not filing taxes, then they have to go from there And they would have to start looking into these Cash Apps and PayPal and things. They would have to subpoena her to bring that stuff in, or to have that stuff sent in to them. And like I said earlier, they do watch your social media. They watch to see, like this young man that my husband worked with, they watched to see if he was posting anything on there about, getting outdoors and doing things that, because he was a coon hunter. He took his dogs out and took his coon dogs out. So they watched his page to see if he was doing anything like that. They watched his page to see if he was sharing any fishing videos because he liked to fish. So they were watching his page to see if he was still active and out living his life as normal. And they're watching her to see if she's getting money sent in to her every day, They're watching her to see what she tells them. If she's on there telling people, I go to work every day, guys. I've got jobs outside of Facebook every day. Well, they're going to say, well, where are these jobs? Bring us in your pay stubs. Have your employer sign this paper, have it notarized, and send it in showing that this employer paid you how much they pay you per hour or per week. And then they're going to base the amount of child support she has to pay per month on what she's claiming as her income. Now, here's what I predict is going to happen. She'll go back to court and they will set her child support at a certain dollar amount based on whatever it is that they come up with that they believe to be her income, what she's provided them with. They will base their child support monthly amount on that, and then in a month or two, 3 or 4 down the line, she's going to start claiming that she's not getting stars, that her supporters have dropped by 50. She's getting half of what she was earning. She'll go back to quietly, without fanfare, without knowledge of Facebook and all this. She will quietly go back to the county attorney and say, here's my income for the last month. Here's my income for the last 2 or 3 months. It's gone way down from what it was when I first showed up in court. And if she can get some electricity bills or rent or anything like that in her name, then she can use that as her cost of living. And they will decrease her child support again. I've seen it happen. And so, that will be her victory. She will say, well, the haters tried to take me down, but the haters didn't win. But she will do it quietly because she doesn't want people to. She said after the first of the year that there's going to be a big change on her page. Well, I do believe that. But not because she wants to be a better person. Not because she's closer to God or she's using the Bible to try to win the hearts of the loving, giving, kind, generous Christian people that watch her. But because she wants to cut out a lot of this money that's being thrown at her publicly. She'll find a way to get the money without it being public. And a lot of people are saying that's why she set up Ed a second page. Because she wants him to start getting more followers so he can start getting the money. And she's going to ask all of her people to go support Ed, become supporters of Ed, as soon as he gets enough followers. So the money would be going to him and not to her. She would still benefit from it. She would still put it in her pocket, but it would be Ed's money. She wouldn't have to turn it in child support. So that's just my thoughts and opinions, and I'm going to get off of here. I didn't mean for this video to talk on and on and on and on. But I just find it so, I don't even know what the word is really to put to it, that the way that things are set up, the laws really need to be changed well, I don't know what the laws are in other states, but I know in Kentucky, people need to start contacting Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General of the state. They need to contact Rand Paul. I would say Mitch McConnell, but as I've said before, I don't hold no. I don't think Mitch McConnell holds anything for the people of the state of Kentucky. Mitch McConnell holds only for himself, and he's just biding his years till they have to wheel him into the Senate in his wheelchair and his diaper, like they had to do Robert Byrd from West Virginia. And he'll be 103 years old and still sitting on the Senate, and doing nothing for his state. And that's just my opinion. You all may disagree. But Rand Paul seems to be really, in my opinion, he kind of teeter-totters. There's some things I don't agree with him on, but I believe when it comes to changing laws, he's the man to try to get to work with in the state of Kentucky. And they need to change the laws. They need to change the way reporting is done for income for child support. And they need to change the minimum limit, no matter what people claim their or what they claim their income is. The minimum limit needs to be increased. So even if you go to court and claim I'm indigent, I don't have a dime to my name, they need to say, well, you've got 30 days to get a job. And don't say you can't, because they're hiring at Taco Bell, they're hiring at Pizza Hut, they're hiring at all these places. Some people might think, well, that's beneath me. I once made $25 an hour. I'm not going to go flip burgers. Well, if your child's hungry and your child needs school clothes and shoes and medicine, then you go flip a hamburger and you send them the money. And the judges and the police, the law enforcement need to enforce the laws. They need to work harder to make sure these people pay. And don't get $40,000 in arrears. Now that's all I've got to say about it, and I appreciate everybody who stuck around to hear me out. Thanks for listening.